Alright guys, Dokkan 2, the big update, is finally on global. It's now on both versions of the game, and it is looking good. It is looking crispy. I really like how smooth and how sharp and crisp the new UI looks and HUD in the main menu, especially this bottom bit down here. Mine's a little bit extended because my phone's a bigger phone, but I like how clean the bottom of the menu is now. It looks very, very good. It looks nice. I have already been on and done my dailies and also link leveled, so I haven't really been paying attention. So most of this is still going to be fresh. We now have a awakening and challenge tab as two separate tabs. So now if you want to go pick up some Dokkan awakening medals, do the free-to-play prime LR grinds, they're going to be in the awakening tab now. And now the challenge tab is stuff like red zone, difficult content, ESBR, SBR, Supreme Magnificent Battle. They're now both split, which I think is a nice welcome change to keep everything kind of clean and clear. Now the new UI when it comes to going into battles is going to take some getting used to. I do like it. It is a very welcome change. I do think all of this looks very good. However, the new HUD at the bottom is definitely going to take some getting used to. I'm not saying it's bad. I just think that because we've been used to the old one for almost 10 years, seeing something else, it's going to take an adjustment period. But one thing I do love is how good the orbs look. And you're probably thinking, why do you care? Why do you care about the way orbs look? I don't know. They just look pretty. They just look pretty, okay? They're gorgeous. The game now also tells us when an enemy has type advantage against a certain unit, which I think is a very welcome change. It also tells you when you're guarding as well, when a unit guards. Even the animation when picking up key spheres now, I think looks so good. It looks so clean. But as I said, it's gonna take some adjusting to get used to the new HUD at the bottom. But as I said, that's not because it's bad. That's not because I don't like it. It's just we've been used to the same one for almost 10 whole years. Other than that, I think it's good. I think it's clean. I think it works. I like that we can now see a percentage on the HP bar now. I think not only with newer players, I just think in general when it applies to, which a lot of units have this, when it applies to units that have HP conditions in their passive and they have to drop to or below a certain HP threshold, it's going to help with keeping track of that now, rather than kind of doing the math or kind of guessing and kind of creating that kind of almost muscle memory to where we're like, oh yeah, the bar's a certain way down, that means we're at 70% or below, or it's here, that means we're at 60% or below. When it came to 50, that was obvious, you know, half of the HP bar. These I think look sick. I think they're so much cleaner than they used to be. But I think one of the biggest changes being the fact that we can now know when units are guarding, especially when it applies to units that have chance to guard. I think that's probably one of the best changes throughout this entire update. Like, yeah, it's nice to have the orbs looking honestly sensational. Like, the glow looks amazing. Like, they look beautiful. But it's just nice to now know when a unit is guarding. It's nice to know that when the game is telling us this. I think the new way the numbers come flying in with how much damage you've done or been taken, I think that looks good. I know a few people kind of said how, you know, they prefer how it kind of goes in like a slot machine. Like you see each number kind of appear at a separate time or at different times. I don't mind. That doesn't really bother me. I just like the way it transitions onto the screen. I think it's really good. I think it's clean. It's a really smooth transition. Again, stuff like fonts and things like that, that's going to take some getting used to because I definitely don't think it's bad. I think it looks nice. But again, just because we've been used to the old UI, the old HUD, the old animations, it's going to take some getting used to. Including the KO screen. That is going to take some getting used to as well. I think overall, it's a good change. Everything looks good. It's just new. It's going to take an adjustment period. It all looks clean and it all just plays out very smooth. And one thing I do like, and it's a very minor thing, is I love how there's so much information on this screen alone without it looking overcrowded or cluttered. I think that is good because the game is telling me, or say for example, Boo had type advantage or type disadvantage, the game would be telling me that. The game would be telling me who is guarding, for example, Fat Boo. But it's so small and so subtle that, as I said, the game is telling you a lot of what's going on right now in this turn without the screen feeling like too much is going on. Everything looks cluttered, everything looks overcrowded, and you kind of just get lost in how much depth Dokkan can have. So I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And I like how you can see more of the background now. And this is going to help with domains, because the domains have special animations. They play out a bit differently. So I'm hoping Dokkan really goes for it when it comes to having backgrounds of certain battlefields. And I don't just mean domains. I mean like what you would consider in like Sparking Zero to be stages. Like the backgrounds of, say, Namek, Land of the Kais, Hyperbolic Time Chamber, Tournament of Power. Hopefully they kind of add more details to those, kind of like what they've done with domains. But I'm hoping they take an extra step with all of that now, because now we can see more of it now that there is, well, there's a HUD, but there's less of it. So we can see more of the screen to make it a bit immersive. I want Dokkan to go balls to the wall when it comes to the background. And I know it's such a small thing, but I think it would just add to the gameplay experience and make everything a lot more immersive. And I think it would actually be a welcome change for a lot of people. And especially with how good just animations look in the game nowadays when it comes to like super attacks. I reckon it's doable, and I reckon it will look great. It will look great. I also love how minimized the HUD is now when it comes to the units next to each other. Like, it's kind of very free-flowing, if that makes sense. Like, there's, again, just not a lot going on. You know, the unit kind of mini displays are just kind of floating there. I like that a lot as well. But the bit at the bottom, definitely going to take some getting used to. The bottom right, when it shows you the following turn, the following rotation, I like that. And with newer players, that is going to be a big change. Because before, it was just the wheel. And while it's very easy, or is very easy, especially once you've been playing Dokkan for a while, to figure out what the next rotation was, at least with this way, it's very straight to the point, very precise, very clear, that our next rotation, along with saying next up, you know, you can't get more clear and on the nose than that. It literally says, next up, Fat Boo, Super Boo, and LR Boo tanks. I like that now it's very precise and clear when it comes to the next and following rotation. I think that is a very much welcome change. The one thing I cannot get over, and I'm probably going to talk about it so much in this video, is how good the orbs now look. And I love the animation of when you're picking orbs up. Not just the movement, but also when you literally get the orbs and you see this rainbow flash pop up. I like it so much. It looks so clean. Dokkan have done such a good job with this new update, the Dokkan 2 update. The funny thing is, to me, they haven't actually changed a whole lot, but because the HUD, the UI, was such a big part of the game, with this being a mobile game, it genuinely looks like a whole new game. It genuinely looks like we could be playing a literal Dokkan 2, which is what I love about this update so much. This is also another change, but it's very subtle, and again, it works for new players, and I'm here for it. I like how the game tells you and differentiates each different cut-in. So now when a unit evades, it literally tells you evasion. If a unit is guarding, it literally tells you guard. And if they're using the same mechanic again, it just pops in with a cut-in like with what you used to. I like it tells you when you're additionaling as well. Like, they're very small minor things that, say, didn't need to be changed, but then again, or at least for me, I'm someone who's been playing this game for 8.5 years. Like, I know what these things mean. I know what they correlate to. When it comes to a new player standpoint, seeing all these things literally at the touch of a fingertip, literally right there for you, without having to do too much to find it, and it literally tells you, it literally almost smacks you in the face to say, hey, you're dodging, hey, you're guarding, hey, you're additionaling. It's going to help newer players pick up Dokkan a whole lot easier than before, because it's so on the nose, and it literally slaps you in the face with the information you need to let you know what's going on. So I think that's another great and welcome change. is how obvious and bait these changes are. As I said, for veteran players like me and some of you watching, you're probably sitting there like, that literally doesn't matter, or that doesn't mean anything, or that's kind of annoying, and I get that. But don't forget, not everything is going to be for the veteran players. Like, there are still newer players picking this game up. The crazy thing is, it was shown, I think, yesterday or the day before, that over 80,000 people have returned to Dokkan after not playing for so long, which is crazy. So think about how many newer players there are going to be as well. And then one of the biggest changes that I absolutely adore, which I didn't really think I would care about too much when I saw it the first time, is the info, the passive. Like, it's such a minor change, and I don't mind this change being here, but it's such a minor change. But ever since it's been introduced for a few hours, and then from the super easy aid details for Vegito and Buhan, I love how easy it is to read now. Like, passives were becoming the length of like the full Harry Potter series. Like, you were basically reading 2-3 chapters of a unit to read their passive. Now it's literally basic effect. 150% attack and defense. When attacking, you get this much defense. When your HP is 70% or more. Support. Do this, do that. I love how basic and how minimalistic it is. Again, these are all very small and subtle changes, but I think they help out the game massively when it comes to quality of life changes. But I did say I'd probably mention this again, and I am going to mention this again. I love how good the orbs look, and I love the animation that plays when you're picking orbs up. The little effect, the flash of color when you pick one up, the flash of a rainbow when you pick up a rainbow key sphere. It looks so good. The glow of the orbs looks so good. I like it so much. Like, is it just me? Let me know in the comments. Am I glazing too much? But let me know down in the comments. Does it not feel, with a lot more of a minimalistic HUD, does it not feel a lot more immersive? Because I feel like it does. I feel like with a lot less going on the screen, like a lot less of the screen taken up by HUD and UI, things like that, I feel like the game's a lot more immersive, which is why I want them to go into such detail and put more work in when it comes to domains and backgrounds of certain stages and events. I want the backgrounds to look like as if I'm playing like Sparking Zero, for example. Maybe, obviously not on that level, but I want them to have not just like as if we're moving through the Tournament of Power right now with like the stars and everything, but like genuinely a lot more going on, especially when it comes to domain, and especially when it comes to the standard of animations now in Dokkan. I think it would just add that little bit extra when it comes to the immersiveness, and especially with there being less of a HUD, less of a UI now, you're also kind of forced to see a lot more. So why not make it look better? I'm not saying it looks bad, but, you know, why not make it look a bit better? You know, take advantage of that extra space we kind of got going on. But yeah, I'm loving this new update right now. I know a lot of you are probably sitting there going, you're glazing! You're glazing! It's not that good! Not that much of a change, which I get, but it's just enough. And as I said before, we've had the same UI for 10 years. For me personally, 8.5 years. That's a long time. No one can tell me I'm not loyal. I've been playing this game for 8.5 years. No one can tell me I'm not loyal. But because we've been used to that for so long, seeing something so different that we literally look at all the time, it feels like a massive change. As I said, it genuinely feels like a Dokkan 2. It feels like we're playing a whole different game, even though it's the exact same with just a HUD and UI update and change. But overall, I'm going to say this, which I think is very obvious by how I've been talking about the update the entire time we've been doing this video, is I like it. I like the update a whole lot. So that's why I'm going to ask you guys. Do you like the update? Yes or no? If yes, let me know why. If no, let me know why. What parts do you like? What parts do you not like? What would you change? What would you have left the same? Let me know the good, the bad, all down in the comments. Even this bit. I think the only thing I would change back is I kind of prefer the Spirit Bomb Goku on the now loading screen rather than Goku on Nimbus. But let me know your overall thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Here's to another 10 years of Dokkan, and peace.